Well, guys, welcome back to the Fusion Offroad podcast. Today we have another special guest with us.
Yes, we do.
You'll never guess who.
Well,
Mr. Pandemic.
Mr. Pandemyk. Yeah.
So, Mark, would you like to introduce yourself real quick and let us know what you do?
Yeah, Mark Bajer, owner, founder, Pandemyk Performance. Is you couldn't tell, we started during the pandemic in 2020, and a lot of people are kind of wondering, why did we name it Pandemyk? When did we start? We started in 2020. Everything was locked down. No one could really go anywhere. Everything was contactless. I had recently left a job from the power sports industry, which is a lot of people know me from the power sports industry. But for those of you that didn't, I was in the power sports industry for about 10 years and moved to Michigan. I was in Minnesota prior to that, and everybody just word of mouth kind of knew I did tuning, knew I was into the power sports side-by-sides, and everybody kept coming to my shop to get their stuff tuned. And I thought, well, hey, there's enough interest here, maybe we should make a business out of it. So me and a couple buddies one night were sitting in the shop. I'm like, what do we name this thing? And we had a bunch of different ideas. It was going to be hot tune performance, tune your boys, esoteric, and one guy was like, well, why don't we name it Pandemyk? And I'm like, well, that's kind of catchy, Pandemyk Performance. And then we spelled it a little bit different with the YK at the end. We're going to use the IK, but that was already taken from trademarks. I guess there's a band somewhere, I think in Denmark.
But it's a good point for a name. They give a good reason. I even like the little logo on there.
It's a great logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, performance that's contagious. So it's kind of our slogan. And
yep.
Yeah, one thing with us, kind of what set us apart is we were one of the first ones to do wireless tuning. So like the contactless tuning with the smartphone, we helped develop an app that let people do that. So that way, during the height of COVID, nobody could do anything, go anywhere, but they still wanted to add some spice to the machine. We had a way to do it. So that was kind of the whole segue and sort of the ethos of what we're about. So, and then here we are, 5 years later, and, we're slowly marching our way up to being, kind of more of a household name.
Yeah, very good. And you're right. You guys have done some things. I've noticed the growth. Especially over the last couple of years. You guys have made some really good leaps and bounds. We met you down at OPE. Was that your first time down at OPE?
I think that was our second or third year there. Every year, a little bit bigger setup. That was our first time meeting you guys, and we've been following you for a while. So yeah, awesome to be here.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we had to go all the way to Arkansas to meet you.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy? Yeah, right in our backyard. So.
Yeah, that's terrible. Oh, that's absolutely terrible. So, but now with your tuning, what's your? Most tuners have their favorite machine, the one that they're specializing in, the one that they're pushing the most. What's your creme de la creme? What's your specialty tune?
For us, it's going to be the Polaris Razor Pro R. That's kind of my baby, so to speak. I've got a lot of experience with that machine, and it's just been a really good platform for us. It's already got 4 cylinders. Like they say, no replacement for displacement. It's 2 liters, so it's already a pretty stout platform, and we've had really good success with that. So that's kind of our bread and butter. Just Polaris in general, but mainly the Pro R. And then obviously, to stay competitive, we do everything else. We do Can-Am, Honda, and we've got some pretty exciting things that we'll be announcing later on this week too. So
very cool.
Pretty cool.
Very cool. I do have a question actually, now that I got you here, and because it's something that not a lot of companies offer. Do you do any NA tuning for Polaris at all? I got a buddy with an XP 1000. He put an exhaust on it, and all of a sudden the thing went lean on him, with this new exhaust. So he's very, and he contacted me, and of course I get on the internet, and there's like 2 resources that I would, so is that something you dabble with?
It is, yeah. That's actually our primary business is NA tuning. Obviously the guys with turbos and everything, they want more power, and we're kind of known as the supercharger guys on the Pro R world. But yeah, the NA stuff is honestly, it's we do a lot of those. Whether it's Rangers or Razor XP 1000s. A lot of people have the exact same thing, right? They've got exhaust, maybe they have a clutch kit, different intake. They want just a little bit more spice out of it. That's what we do. So we definitely can do that. So yeah.
Nice, very good. Yeah.
So I'm seeing this supercharger thing you're talking about here. I seen it on Bobby. I think it was Bobby Cobb's car.
Yep.
Yeah.
How much more power can I get if I went with a supercharger on there?
So you guys got a Pro R, yeah. So I mean, a supercharger, you're going to be reliably about 325 to the wheels on yours. Obviously more at the crank, you lose a lot for the clutching, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, compared to a turbo kit, that's the next question. Is everybody's like, well, why would I do a supercharger over a turbo? Well, I mean, basic physics says a turbo is always going to have more power because it's more efficient, right? You're using waste energy to create energy, whereas a supercharger, you're taking energy to make energy. But
Yep.
for us, being mud guys, like the supercharger's done well because you have the instant power delivery off the bottom. There's no lag. So I would say, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cost-effective way to get over 300 horse on a Pro R.
Yeah, well, and charge temps too. The charge temps on the supercharger versus a turbocharger, I mean, they're night and day difference.
Yeah, a lot lower. So, I mean, you can, and that's a good point. You definitely make up the power there. Lower charge temps. We've got intercooler fan kits, but yeah, charge temps typically we've seen 20 to 30 degrees cooler, just for the same boost level.
I bet.
Supercharged with turbo. Yeah.
Well, and I know on the turbos, like Joel just had one blowout this weekend. I've blown out quite a few of them. Do you guys go through a lot of superchargers, or are they not blown out like the turbos?
Not really. Initially when they came out, I mean, it was all new. There were some serpentine belt issues, but that's been resolved. There's a new generation kit out there. We've come out with billet tensioner kits for them. So that's really been resolved. But the supercharger themselves, we've only had one guy that routinely, he's pretty hard on equipment, and he went through a supercharger, and that was mainly just because it got water in it, and ingested water. The bearings went out on it. But I mean, we're talking submerged, 3-4 feet of water. It was on a bounty bike. So, but
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, so you keep a good air filter on them. They should outlast a turbo.
Yep.
They should, yeah. Yeah, 'cause you don't have all the thermal shock of what a turbo would have.
Yeah.
Yep. So I go on this thing called online, and I want to order some of your parts. How am I getting these parts? Where am I
We
going?
ship them. Yep, so most of our parts we ship next day, if not the day after. Same thing with tuning, too. So you don't have to come to our shop. We don't have to come to you to do tuning. All of our tuning have an out-of-state option. So we've got this wireless tuning device that we created. So we'll just mail that right to your door, and then you open it up on your smartphone. There's an app we have that links up to your vehicle. We can download the tune that way, all contactless.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And what's the website called?
Website's pandemicperformance.com. And we've made sure whether you spell it completely incorrectly, you can still get to Pandemyk. So no matter what way you spell it, Pandemic Performance, pandemic.com, it'll still take you there.
Okay.
Nice.
And you guys got the Facebook too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep, we're on Facebook, Instagram. Now we're on TikTok by popular demand. We're on YouTube. I know I was probably one of the last people to ever join TikTok, but yeah, we're on pretty much all the major social media platforms with the exception of X.
Okay. I probably won't find them if I'm looking on Pandemyk OnlyFans.
Not yet. Maybe dadbodsonly.com, but not OnlyFans. So.
Maybe we can get a little something started at Mud Jam.
Yeah.
On the Pandemyk.
Maybe, yeah.
Pandemyk.
Yeah,
only.
Ron probably like that. Yeah, give a whole new meaning to wom woms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't talk about them.
No.
Yeah, I'm envisioning Mark walking around in a purple Speedo at Mud Jam.
Not a good sight. Wouldn't want to imagine that.
I'll be the photographer. I got you, man.
Oh yeah, we'll make sure it's covered. Yeah, we'll get it.
Yeah. I'd probably have a whole new fan base. You never know.
Yeah, you sure would.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd want that one. They might show up at your door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the technology
Yeah.
the way that it is, I'd be afraid of putting something like that out there on the internet. Yeah.
Right.
So with that, we're talking about the superchargers. What else do you have on there? The tuning. I see there's
tuning,
more things.
Superchargers. We do have turbo kits. The clutching and exhaust is going to be our big one. So we sell GGB exhaust. That's our primary exhaust, and we carry it all stainless steel. They're out of Canada. Yes, we partnered up with them. We do a lot of flow testing and dyno development. So exhausts are a big one outside of tuning. We also carry a lot of other stuff too. We try to be a one-stop shop. So we've got Brian Prower for all your engine internals, Super ATV for portals, lift kits, whatever, bumper fab, gator waders to keep you dry. We carry a full line of wheel pros, so wheels, tires, pretty much everything you need for your side-by-side, snowmobile, motorcycle. We try to carry it, and we're always adding new stuff every day.
Nice. So you're tuning motorcycles and snowmobiles as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I was worried I was going to be late to this podcast because, right before this, I had a guy with a new Indian motorcycle came to our shop and wanted to get it tuned. So apparently, we're one of the only people tuning the 2025 Indian Scouts. So we've been busy with that. But yeah, Side by sides, pretty much anything that Polaris or Can-Am makes, we can tune. So that
Okay.
includes Indian Motorcycle because Polaris owns them.
Nice.
I didn't even know that.
Nice.
See, I
Yeah.
learned something new today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So now I know the new Can-Ams, the ECUs are locked down pretty tight on them. Are you able to unlock and tune
Oh,
those?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Good.
we're
Good.
able to unlock. That's just new as of 2 or 3 months ago. So the new
Okay.
Maverick R, the X3s,
Yep.
we can get into all the Can-Ams, and that's the same thing with all the water sports. We do jet skis and even the pontoon boat, the switch that VRP's got out. We can do that. So yeah, all the new stuff we can unlock all the ECUs. There really isn't anything we can't do.
That is
And we do all that stuff
fantastic.
in house. A lot of people got to send their stuff out to get unlocked. We have all the tools to unlock our ECUs in house, so it's not bad. It's usually about a 1 week turnaround time to get that stuff done.
Very cool. And
Yeah.
I'm really shocked that I had to ask you that, Mark, and I hadn't seen that online yet. You guys, because I mean, you see the question all the time. I mean, in all these groups, and there's typically two names that are going to pop up, and yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I'm glad to see that there's somebody else out there. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to be, cost competitive too. We know there's a couple big names out there and, we're still the new guy on the block. So we try to be competitive, but the dyno numbers don't lie. We still do our due diligence and get the numbers and at, a more cost effective price.
Yep.
And our big thing too is reliability. We might not be the most powerful guys on the block. That's not that we don't know how to make it. It's just we're all about, going to the mainstream, the guy that wants a little bit of extra power, but doesn't want to sacrifice reliability. Because, as you guys know, your riders around here, the last thing you want is to be stuck in the woods with a broken down machine. So that's kind of what we focus on.
100%. And here's the thing too. All of the other great tuners in the industry are going to welcome somebody like you and endorse somebody like you. That's what keeps, like you said, keeps the price honest. It keeps people trying to innovate. You always got to try to be the next step ahead. So bringing more people into this industry just makes it that much better. Let's face it, so.
I agree. Sometimes people don't welcome new stuff, but I think the pie is big enough for everybody, and honestly, I don't think there's enough tuners out there, to be honest. I think there's a lot of good stuff, but yeah. No, I definitely think, there's room for everybody.
Oh, 100%, 100%, so, and it makes it great too, because giving people many options, so, that makes people feel better, because again, it's been it's been kind of a one-sided coin in the beginning, and then it took a bit for others to start to show their face, and it's fantastic. So good for you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys could start during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And get it going. Yeah.
What would have been, it's, no doubt it was a terrible time for a lot of people, but we saw it as an opportunity. You're sitting there working from home, right? You kind of go bored out of your mind. You can't go anywhere. And I had all these toys, so I started tinkering with it, and one thing led to another. And here we are.
Yep.
And where it started, a lot of people ask, why HP tuners? Because we exclusively use HP tuners over other people. And honestly, it came down to the fact that I had a HP tuner device I bought for my car. I was trying to tune an LS at the time, and I had a Razor in the garage. And I reached out. I said, hey, I saw you guys are dabbling with some Can-Am stuff. Do you have any interest in doing Polaris stuff? And they said, yeah, we're working on it. And then it wasn't 6 months later, and they finally, reached back out and said, yeah, we're tuning side by sides with Polaris and Can-Am and Honda. So we tried out, their stuff on ours, guinea pig, and it worked out great. So, and for us, we like it because, unlike some other stuff like HP tuners, they're a well-known name and they work on cars, trucks, side by sides, whatever. So you could just use one tool on everything, which is kind of nice.
Yep. Absolutely.
So do you guys have a shop then, or is it mostly just send in? So people can.
So I'd say 90% of our business is online sales. And what we do at shows, we do travel a lot to shows. We try to put a face to the name and tune people on the spot. But we do have a shop. Yeah, we're actually working on building a new shop because honestly, it was a shop in our backyard in the back of the property, and it's since outgrown that. So now we're trying to be strategic. I've got a business partner as well, and we're trying to figure out where to go. A lot of our business is down south, so we're actually looking at potentially relocating to either Tennessee or Alabama or even Texas. So
Oh, wow.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
it'll be something different because for whatever reason, all the tuners are in the Midwest. I mean, you've got like the other big names, they're either in Wisconsin or Minnesota.
Yep.
You know, there's a couple that are in Michigan, including us. I mean, outside of that, there's really nobody. There's really no one out west. There's no one down south. I mean, you got people that build the big machines down south. They do some tuning, but as far as like companies where that's their sole focus, there's really not many, and they're all concentrated here. Which I don't know why. Personally, I don't like the cold winter weather anymore. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not really conducive to testing outside, so I'm not sure why they're all congregated here. Maybe it's because all the big OEMs are here, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that down in Texas though, man, I don't know if I could deal with that 120-degree temp in the summer.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart, but I mean, after this, winter like we had, it's like I'd rather take 120 over 10 below, 20 below,
Yeah, that's true. And then this rain, oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's been like 40 and rain the past 4 months, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So, are you guys selling those electric three-wheelers now?
that's the talk of the town. Yeah. So we're a dealer for mini RCRs. So
Yep.
a lot of people have heard of Sandcraft Motorsports. They make the carrier bearings, all
Yep.
the drive lines. So they ventured off and started a whole new company called Mini RCR, and we help them out with motor controls and tuning. So we actually offer a full line of tuning now for those to wake them up. But yeah, it's a full electric Class 2 e-bike. So it's clever on their part to pretty much make a foot peg that doubled as a bicycle pedal. So
Yep.
they're 50 state legal as a Class 2 e-bike, which the nice thing about Class 2 is you don't have to pedal it to ride it. You can go full electric mode, which is what
Yeah.
most people will do. And they're limited to 20 miles an hour stock, but then, people sign a waiver saying, yep, you understand this no longer becomes an e-bike once we tune it. But, we've seen up to 50, 60 miles an hour out of these things, with tuning them. So makes them pretty fun. It really throws you back to the 1980s, on the old ATC 125s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making three-wheelers great again. So
That's awesome, man.
definitely excited.
Someday I'll be able to afford one. I'm going to get one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are on the pricier side, you know what I mean? But they're definitely, the big thing with them is they're all 100% American made.
Yeah.
Everything from the frame to controls and, look, no one's Sandcraft, the whole thing's hogged out of one chunk of billet aluminum.
That's
certainly not
what I
cost
said.
effective, but
Yeah, when I was down there, that's the first thing I said when I seen that thing was because I'm the polish guy, right? I all my aluminum parts I buy raw and I
Yeah.
polish them. And I said, wasn't it Brandon? Brandon from Sandcraft?
yeah.
Yeah, Brandon. When I was talking to him, I says, the first thing I would have to do to this thing when I got it home, when I bought it, would be completely disassemble it and polish every component on it. Like, and his eyes got big. I said, oh yeah, carbon fiber and chrome. That's all this thing would be,
I'm going to break out the Never Doll and polish mine now. Cause now that you say that, that would be a pretty trick look. And I haven't seen anybody do that. So,
Oh, it'd be amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
I would
agree,
just put it in the mud and bog it down and
I'll tell you
just
what,
keep throwing
Mark,
mud.
what you
That's
do,
typically what we do.
what you do is you send me 2 of those and I'll send you back 1 polished.
There you go.
And a picture of him in his Speedo on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because
autograph.
I put an ugly shine on all the aluminum, and my wife's asked me, when I told her, I said I'm out polishing my aluminum. I'm putting an ugly shine on it, and she says, an ugly shine? What do you mean? You polish it like a mirror? And I said, yes, I polish it until I see ugly.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's good that you're getting out and you're doing different things. You're selling different things. That's pretty awesome.
It is great. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we're trying to branch out. A lot of the other tuning companies, like they focus solely on tuning and exhaust. It's fine. But we're trying to branch out and just be more of a one-stop shop and diversify a little bit because you never know. The winds can change, and tuning could be gone.
Yeah.
That's the biggest elephant in the room is it could go the way of what happened to diesel trucks. Right now, all of a sudden, nobody can tune side by side. So that's always a thing. So we try to be cognizant. All right,
Yep.
focus on different areas.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, and great. And like you say, when people are shopping your website and wanting to tune, well, there's a lot of components, a lot of products that kind of go hand in hand with a good tune, right? Or for you to be able to get the most out of it.
Yep.
So yeah, to be able to offer that stuff is key. And then also, let's face it, the stuff that you're offering, you've probably had on your dyno, right? You've tested it.
Yeah.
You know that it's a good product. You're going to endorse it. You're gonna sell it. So it give people a chance to really be sure that they're getting the right combination with you. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And that is something we kind of pride ourselves on, is more of the system engineering approach. I'm a degreed engineer. We got 4 people that work for us, two of which are also engineers. So we all come from either the automotive space or the power sports space, so we all have masters or PhDs in engineering. So it's definitely not some people just, typing away on a keyboard, willy-nilly making tunes. We're definitely all well experienced in this stuff. So
Nice.
when you buy something from us, at least we're not one just to slap our name on it and sell it. It's definitely tested and well engineered.
Very good.
Yeah, that's what you need because, yeah, you don't want the cookie cutter.
No.
There's a lot of that, right? Yeah, like we always have a conversation with the customer, try to figure out what the riding style is. And that's a good point. It's like all of our tuning is custom, so we're not going to be the guys that you plug it in and it's going to upload a tune right away. We make sure every tune's custom to what your riding style is and what you got done to your machine.
Yeah. Now, typically with all your tunes, are you doing like a wideband with the guys where you're actually going to have them do some data for you, or is it?
Typically not. No.
No?
So we do all of our tuning is more like it's more OEM style, like what the manufacturers would do. So we'll actually, when a new product comes out, the first thing we do is get it, we put it on the dyno, and we develop, a full set of, base tunes for it. And then we use that as the basis and then fine tune it for each customer. So it's not necessary for us to get every customer's machine on a dyno and put a wideband. All that work's done up front. That way we can just, fine tune it later.
Yep.
Because just like Polaris or Can-Am, right? They're not making a unique tune for everybody's machine, whether a guy's in Colorado or in Louisiana. Like that's one thing a lot of people don't really fully appreciate is like on an OEM side, one file's got to run 100,000 machines the same, no matter where it's run, what fuel's in it, and it's got to pass emissions for its whole life. So it's all these different requirements. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and right now, like for Silver Lake, they're running a lot with the sound test.
Yeah, they're
The
really
decimals.
cracking down. Yeah. Yeah, I got hit it was the opening weekend. Yeah,
Oh wow.
they hit me. So I've supposedly had this quiet custom exhaust coming for a while. So I've had to light the fire underneath my fabricator's butt. I said, man, we've got to get this thing on here. Cause we're hoping to be up there Sunday. So is our goal.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're going to go do the R3
Yeah.
R3 event on Saturday and then Sunday the dunes.
Yep.
Very cool.
And then maybe Mudbog on Sunday as well. There's Mudbog and Crystal also on Sunday. So
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I know BFE Bog was just this weekend, and
it was.
and looked like a pretty good turnout. Yeah, Crystal's always a good event. So we're headed to Windrock Offroad tomorrow. They got a big event. It's a Yamaha jamboree type deal. So it's going to be a lot of Yamaha people proving their stuff, and we'll bring some Polaris and Can-Am power to show them what that's all about. But yeah, we'll be set up down there, so it should be a pretty good time.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, we got to get back
Yeah.
down south a little bit. We were just talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Get down there and do some riding.
Yep.
It's a good park. They got a little bit of everything. Definitely more on the rocky side, but yeah, it's good. Like I wish Michigan had something similar to that. I mean, we got Hollyoaks and Mounds and Bundy Hill, but it's just not the same.
No.
It's
like,
not. It is not the same. No.
No.
No. We have the Badlands though. We do. I love the Badlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 5 hours, and that park has got a lot to offer. And then there's Wildcat. Wildcat's about what, 7 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wildcat's a good one. That's actually up there with some of my favorites. You got the tunnels, you got waterfalls, creek riding. Yeah, Wildcat's a good park. A lot of people always kind of overlook that one, but yeah, it is good.
Yep. It is a good park.
That's my favorite one to hit on the way back.
Yep.
So you
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you're already muddy and beat up from.
You're already muddy. Stuff's
Yeah.
not broke yet. Might as well finish it off there.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, yeah, because they usually have something bad going on there. I don't know what, but last time there was pouring down rain, and we wanted to go up that one hill, but we're like, yeah, we're not going to hit that.
Oh, the dome? Yeah,
Yeah.
good luck. Yeah.
Oh no, the dome we did. It was pouring down mud,
Yeah.
but the one right in the parking lot, the big hill.
Yeah, the one out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
That's a tough
so
one to be dry.
yeah, it was water running down it, and it was mud everywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there was no way.
We bailed.
No way. Nope. So that and I'll be honest, even in a dry situation, it's gonna take some Yeah, so some talk. He's gonna have to try it first.
We're gonna bring the Pro XP and bring that machine because that one can roll down. We're okay.
Yeah, I'll drive that one. So nice. Now we did talk about what other events you got going on this summer that you're gonna try to hit, Mark, that are on your calendar.
It's tough, it changes all the time. Usually we always do Gregory Lake Mud Fest, but that's the same time as this Windrock trip. So we're doing Windrock this time, figure, hit a little bit different market. There's an event, the Redneck Rave down in West Virginia. Justin Time's putting that on. We're probably going to do that one. We usually go to a lot of the raves. We try to focus, and cater to more of the kind of redneck, like off-road rap kind of scene. We've seen us link up with a couple different off-road rappers over the years. So we try to cater to that customer base a little bit. As far as like other big events, we're kind of setting aside time for later on in the year. There's talk that there might be a season 3 of Mud Madness. So you guys are obviously in tune with a lot of the Mud Madness cast.
Yep.
We're also part of that, more as a sponsor type level with Mud Madness. We support a lot of the racers. So we're trying to budget for those events. If they do a season 3, it might be later on in the fall. But right now, it's kind of fluid. We're kind of seeing what pops up and trying to keep more of an open schedule. I know last year we did over 50 events and it kind of spread us thin. So now we're trying to hit, some of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
But for sure, probably Michigan Mud Jam will be at this Windrock one, the one in West Virginia. That's what we know of for right now.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of good events going on.
Yeah.
I mean, just like ours, we only put 2 in our schedule: the Ultra 4 and one other one.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, we as far as participation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now as far as going to the events, like you, we want to try to hit as many as possible. And then we want to get out to Utah. I mean, there's
But you never know what's going
Like
on,
you.
so we like to keep the schedule kind of clear.
yeah,
So we'd be like,
Right.
we're broke down this weekend. We're not heading out there
yeah.
because we're supposed to be in Missouri, but went out. My trailer can't speak English today, but my trailer brakes went out. Broke some axles and some other stuff. And I'm
Blew a
like,
tire,
Oh,
had to
yeah.
change tires. Yeah, it was just some things went out on it. It just stars didn't align on
Yeah.
that one.
So we just went through and put all new tires, new brakes, new everything. So it's all redone.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, sometimes that stuff will sneak up on you. I mean, it was like us, like the day before Mud Nationals, and we're going to load up our Pro R, and the front diff was clicking, and as we're loading up the ramps, the front end locked up and twisted a drive shaft. I'm like, okay, a nice little surprise. So, luckily we were able to get parts overnighted and got it done in there. But yeah, stuff like that happens. So
Yep.
I guess it's all part of it.
Absolutely.
Do you guys do a lot of riding then when you're out too, or is it just more of the promotion? Do you get out and ride
We
too?
do. We try to do both. Sometimes it can be tough, but now that we've got more staff members, we always set up our booth to tune people stuff on site. Yeah, we always try to get out and ride, especially in the evenings. We'll close the booth down, we'll get out, we'll do outreach. So honestly, that's where a lot of the people, put a face to name, and you're just sitting around a bonfire and you strike up a conversation, and hey,
Yeah.
so I'm tuning that way. So yeah, it's always nice to understand, not only on the tuning side, but just seeing how people use their machines. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different use case. So looking at, ways, hey, maybe, we can help out this guy or that,
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, we got a Defender, which that thing just cruises around. Might have been in a mud bog once, but we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But
No, it wasn't.
no,
That thing's only gone 25 mile an hour.
To
on
church and
trails.
back.
Yes, on
Yeah.
trails.
Yeah.
but that one's a different style riding. Or if we're riding the Pro R, we're trying to get as fast as we can on the dunes.
Mm,
If we're not hitting 80, we're doing something wrong.
yeah.
But
Yeah, it's because
Right.
you're trying to catch a Can-Am typically. Problem.
I can't catch a Can-Am if I'm already past it.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
this has been fantastic. Been a lot of great information here, Mark. That's for sure. And now, I mean, what we need to do now is just make a trip. We're gonna have to go over to the east side of the state and come check you out.
Yeah. Come check out the shop. You guys are always welcome. Likewise, if there's any other events or whatever, can link up to in the state, whether it's in state or out of state. But yeah, you guys aren't that far away. So
No.
Yeah, we'll keep track of you, and again, it'd be nice to be able to connect sometime at an event too. So
Yeah, if you're going to go to one that you're going to do some riding at, let us know.
yeah, absolutely.
We'll try to get out there.
yeah, for sure.
You know,
I need at least a
Yeah.
month warning so I
We'll
can
definitely let you know.
I need a month warning so I can tell the wife.
Yeah. Yeah. He said tell the wife.
Yeah.
So I don't get
The
grounded.
redneck rave one might not be the best one, maybe, because probably, that one, it's some different shenanigans go on. Can get kind of wild, kind of like trucks gone wild or rednecks and paychecks, but
Okay.
it's always a good time. So those are more outreach events for us. We don't typically set up at those, but yeah, no, for sure. We'll let you know because there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I always like to support local, especially for us that are in the mitten.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to take advantage of calling each other locals for here. Sounds like it's going to be temporary, if you're moving down south.
We're moving,
So-
Well, a lot of it's just, it's got to be the right place, right time, find the right piece of land. Because if we do it, we want to either make our own little, off-road test area, or be strategic and just set up shop right next to an off-road park. So we're looking at Windrock, looking at Royal Blue, maybe even Wildcat, or even some other big parks around the area. So
Yeah.
the stars kind of have a line to make that happen. But we're working on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
One of the things probably to look at is the guys that are at that park and which ones are actually tuned up and which ones aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My gut tells me there's not a lot of guys that are bouncing the mountains that are tuning, but I could be wrong. You got a lot of these NA cars that really, really benefit on a tune, and that's what you see most of the time up there, and is your KRXs.
Yeah, and honestly, like for those guys, it's not even about the power. I'd say 60 to 70% of our tunes are to either turn off like a limp home, scenario. Like take the Ranger 1500 for example. Like that thing stock can't even drive through a ditch. So sometimes we'll just take the torque tables, push some things out of the way, or sometimes it's as simple as a guy wants a seatbelt limiter turned off, or he wants his coolant fan to come on a little bit earlier. So a lot of our tunes are just simple stuff like that. Or let's say a guy dunked his machine in the water. Now he's got some random circuit codes, and we'd say, hey, it's the Band-Aid fix, but we'll keep you going for the weekend, So a couple $100 and he's going. So a lot of it's that. So, it's not strictly all performance, but
That's good to know because I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's amazing. We can pretty much do anything, with the laptop, and whether it's performance or just controlling stuff different, we can do it.
Control and everything. That's what's cool. And you're right. That's the kind of stuff that a lot of guys benefit the most from. I mean, especially the neutral park start, Or
all of our stuff's got that. I mean, all little nuances, right? Where somebody gets annoyed about it, it's funny because no one talks about that stuff. Because a lot of it's just common, it's just a part of getting a tune is that stuff's already there. But sometimes that's all a guy wants. He doesn't even care about the power. So there's a lot of that stuff.
That
and that's a good thing, And then it's kind of funny because I don't know if it's marketing, but some people have stage 9 tunes, and it's it gets confusing. Well, I've got a stage 6 or I got a stage 8. All of ours is simple. Stage 1 is going to be the guy that just wants a seatbelt limiter or cooling fan, not really any power changes, just some stuff pushed out of the way. And stage tune for us is our 90% of our tunes are stage 2. That's as much as power as you're going to get stock on pump gas without touching your wastegate, or maybe you got an exhaust, that's fine. And then stage 3 is our highest, stage. That's the guy that wants a supercharger or turbo or injectors. You want something custom, that's our stage 3. So we try to keep it simple, kind of like In-N-Out Burger, right? Or even Five Guys, where you're not, it's not paralysis by analysis, right? Here's a simple menu.
The real question is, what kind of car is that behind you?
Well, it's funny. A lot of people think I've got a Lambo or a Ferrari or something like that, but it's actually a C8 Corvette.
I thought it was a Vet.
Just because of the Vet sign behind your head.
Yeah.
There's a Corvette sign. I've always been a Corvette guy. My favorite color is orange. Our business colors are orange. So it's always, we don't, even though we don't do any automotive tuning, we strictly stick to power sports. The Corvette's always been a favorite car of mine. So I've got one.
Oh, I love them.
I like orange.
He can't drive anything unless it has orange in it.
It's got to, yeah. I buy orange underwear if they sold them.
So the other last question I have, is there anything else that you want to tell us about the tuning or anything else that we're missing out that we didn't hear?
No, I think we covered a lot of it. Like I said, the tuning, we try to be a one-stop shop, so we always urge people, check out the website. We try to put everything we can online. I'd say we do get a lot of questions on what's the best way to reach us. We do have a business phone number. A lot of people do ask. Our business phone number is a 928 number, which is an Arizona number. So we started in Arizona, in Lake Havasu City.
Okay.
And then we quickly, moved back to Michigan. It was just more advantageous for us here. So that's kind of the background on that. But yeah, call the business phone, shoot us a, message on Messenger, or shoot us an email. That's probably the best way. But yeah, most everything is on pandemicperformance.com.
Very
Okay.
good.
And all your events or anything that you guys are going to are probably going to be on the Facebook?
It's
Post it
all
on
on
there?
Facebook, and then Facebook's probably the best way to stay in touch. We're usually active on there, so that's going to be the best thing. Same thing, any kind of discounts, promotions, sales, they're on there.
You
And
said
then we also have a pretty good how-to tech page, so people that maybe might be intimidated by tuning, they don't know much about it. We do have a whole tech page with videos on our website too, so it's always a good place to check out.
You said discount?
Discounts, yeah, we do offer 15, 20% discount sometime. We do have a promo going on, as soon as we hit 30,000 followers, which I know isn't a lot to a lot of people, but to us, we're growing. So once we get to 30,000 followers, we're gonna have a site-wide 30% off sale. So we're not too far off from it, but like, subscribe, share, all the people out there.
Yep.
As soon as we get to 30,000, we'll offer 30% off.
That's a great sale. Wow.
I'll take 30% off that car.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
No kidding.
cars can be for sale soon. So we got to start
that's-
downsizing to move. So
Yeah, you just stay in Michigan, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So nice. Well, I mean, I don't have anything more that I can think of that I can ask, but I'll tell you, you've been an abundance of information here, Mark. And just like when we met you in person down south, great dude. You're a great guy. We can tell that your heart's in it. You're in it for the right reasons, Another thing that I've got to commend you on, right? Because I'm the type of person, and you heard me, we were talking about others today, but I don't ever mention names, and you'll never hear me belittle other people. That was something cool that you gave me down south as well. Is we talked about other manufacturers, and in fact, you gave me a little bit of razz on my tuner, right, my guy, and that was just banter. That was friendly banter between one another. You respect other companies, you promote other companies, you endorse other companies, and that's all for competition, man. And that's something that we recognize. That's why you're here, bud. Is the fact that that you're a good person. You're headed in the right direction, and we feel that we should endorse you as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we certainly appreciate that. No, it's very heartfelt. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like I said, pie's big enough for everybody, and there's no reason to talk bad on anybody. The way I see it is tuners are kind of like, whether you're Ford, Chevy, or Dodge guy, right? I mean, everybody's got their personal preference, and some people like one or another, and what makes one tuner better over the next, it's honestly a hard thing to answer.
Yep.
I mean, some people have their niche, right? Some people focus on Can-Am. We're more of the Polaris guys, but sometimes it's just a matter of preference. We definitely appreciate everybody that does, give us a try and see what happens.
Nice. Yeah, and sometimes it's just the vibe that you get from the person. I mean, let's face it. So no, it's great. We've got your telephone number, we've got your website. The only thing we don't have.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah,
we're missing one thing from you.
One thing.
Kind of bad.
This is the one thing that we're going to ask from you, Mark. Besides your time, your precious time that you have given us. And
are you sitting down before we ask you? This is a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting down. Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to stand for this long.
Okay. Okay. Well, behind us we have all these hats that are signed.
Yep.
Do you have any hats that you could send us that you could sign for us?
Yeah,
we do. We sure do. Yeah, we'll get you a hat, and we'll do one better. We'll send you a T-shirt. So.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah. Do you have any orange underwear?
One of these. Not underwear. That's asking a little bit much, But I mean, if you want a personal autograph pair of undies, I mean,
if you
talk about OnlyFans.
If you're gonna sign a T-shirt for Jason, I need you to sign it on the right above the small of his back, so it looks like a tramp stamp.
Yeah, a little tramp stamp. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not gonna cover up the one I have now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you
up the Pandemyk princess.
Oh, that's too funny.
We'll get you on the wall up here.
Yes.
Yeah, the wall. Cool. We call it the wall of shame.
Yep, that'd be cool. That and I like your logo. Your logo is awesome. Like
Yeah.
I said, it's catchy. It's fleshy. It's not. I mean, you're not going to forget it. You know, like I said, like I said, you guys got something going on, man.
Appreciate that a lot. Yeah, fun fact, the logo was actually it was drawn up in Microsoft Paint. And then, I had, it was actually the UPS store, like digitally remastered it to what it is now. But yeah,
Nice.
pretty, you'd never think UPS store would make logos, but for 15 bucks, they'll draw pretty much anything you want. So,
That's awesome.
kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
We might have to call them up to get a logo.
Yeah, let's see what they can do.
All we got
man.
are these.
Yeah, no, I was shocked. I was in there. I'm in there every day shipping stuff, and I saw, yeah, they do logos. So I'm like, hell, give it a try. And honestly, AI is pretty powerful too. We've been leveraging a lot of AI, but not really going too overboard with it. But it's getting to be pretty wild. So
Nice.
something to consider too.
Nice. Speaking of AI, have you tried that new Grok? Yeah, the Grok AI.
Have not. No, we've been on Chat GPT quite a bit, and then Bing. But yeah, I've not heard of the. I've not been on Grok. I've seen Elon talk about it. I've seen others talk about it, and it's definitely compelling. So I might have to try that out. But
Dude, my cousin turned me on to it this last weekend, and I'm telling you, that is next level.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. Like, ask it something crazy about a tune, right? Something that only a professional tuner should know. And you'll be blown away. It'll give you 25 pages.
really, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because I've always wondered, because like there's a lot of jobs, like take paralegal for example. You could have AI draft up a whole legal document. Tuning's I'm curious. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's definitely, there's enough resources out there. I mean, let's face it, engines have been around for 100 years, and it's still the basic, reciprocating pistons. So, end of the day, it's still air fuel spark, right? So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if AI could come up with a pretty educated,
Yeah, a guess
explanation.
on what's wrong or it diagnoses. It's incredible.
Well, guys, I mean, we're with Pandemic Performance today. I mean, I can't thank Mark enough for that. You know what I mean?
No, that was a great one. Mark's a good guy. Another great person for the industry, if you ask me. These people, these innovators that we've interviewed, pretty. They've all been. It's pretty common. They've all been great people.
Yep. These guys are putting their money and their time and their energy on the line.
Yep.
To make a difference for every one of us to have a better ride.
Mm-hmm.
To have more power and. Hey, thank you, Mark. Appreciate you for being here.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.